Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you some more BSL action. It's game number 2 between Bonyth and Sziky. Bonyth, of course, taking game number 1. If you haven't seen that yet, definitely do go and check it out. A nice game on Ascension, and now we're going to go to Wavelet. This is a map I have not seen, I have not played on, I have not casted, so I'm going to be learning this right alongside you. Looks like it was made by Freakling and Crystal Drag. Of course, Freakling, kind of a brilliant map maker out there. Excited to see what he has put into this map. And it is time for game number 2. In the top left, we have none other than Bonyth. And in the bottom right, Sziky. Definitely game 1 felt like a pretty dominating performance from Bonyth. He blocked the 3-hatch Hydra. Sziky tried to transition, and Bonyth just kind of rolled him over as he macroed very cleanly into a 1-1 push. Now, I don't think that that is necessarily how the whole series is going to go. You know, sometimes you go for an aggressive opening, and it just kind of doesn't work, and your opponent nails their macro, and yeah, that's all she wrote. So I'm not too worried about it. I think it's still very likely to be a pretty close series. But yeah, before we get too far into it, I do want to give a big shout out to BSL, Bombastic StarLeague. You can check it out, bombasticstarleague.com. The league made by Zero from the Polish scene, and it's absolutely fantastic. He puts so much hard work into it. It is the biggest, the best tournament that we have in the foreigner scene. And of course, you know, there's casters of all languages, and of course, even in English, you have the wonderful Nyokin and Gypsy casting as well, if you want to go check those out. Yeah, big thanks for allowing me to cast this as well. This round of 8 is just completely stacked, and I'm really happy to be able to bring you guys some of these games of some of the very best non-Korean players. All right, so Wavelet. I guess, let's see. It looks like the natural, right? You go down the ramp, and it's a pretty tight position. We've got the egg there to help with the blocking. Nothing looks too out of the ordinary. It's not like the tightest natural, but tight enough that it doesn't look like Protoss is going to have too hard of a time. Yeah, kind of an interesting terrain feature in the center as well. It almost looks like there's a valley going through there, so definitely some terrain changes. 4-player map as well. The Bonyth right now looks like he's doing a little bit of an end scout, actually. Or I guess he missed the Overlord. It seems like he jotted over towards top right, and I didn't catch it exactly, but it seems as if he's missed the Overlord and then sent the probe to the bottom left. But Sziky is actually bottom right, so maybe a little bit of a miss scout, unfortunately. The Zealot going down on the map a little bit, turns around to chase away the drone as well. Just kind of showing the various natural bases there. Zealot backing up, since he doesn't really have intel yet. You know, if you are getting Zergling rushed, you're going to get in trouble if your Zealots are out on the map at that point, right? All right, the drone is coming home, as the probe will get up to scout that. And you can see Bonyth just kind of holding his ramp right now, throwing that Nexus down as well. And we'll see where he goes from here. Is he going to get that Forge very quickly? Probe sees 4 Lings pop out as well as a drone. So it may be a situation where he tries to do something like Cybernetics Core first, but we'll see. Sziky taking his hatchery on the 3rd base while all this is occurring. And yeah, right now, I guess we're just kind of taking our time trying to figure out, like, is this layer going to start? It's not that far off from the actual start time where you get that 100 gas.
Biotech just created 10 super.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Biotech. For those of you wondering, right, this is a basically a clean feed recording of the actual broadcast rather than observe it myself. It's got all these nice graphics and everything, so giving that a try for the casts. Anyways, the Zealot's going to go back into the wall here. We do have the Cybernetics Core at the natural. I believe the Forge is in the main base. Or maybe he didn't even start it. I'm not entirely sure. We kind of been watching the Zerg base a little bit more so far. Yeah, Bonyth pushing forward, getting those Lings out of there. Blocking the ramp is Sziky. who does have that layer on the way. Of course, it has to be in the back of your mind as Bonyth that he did already go 3-hatch Hydra once, and if you can't get up there, you don't know for sure. There could be a Hydraless Den up there. And there is the Forge. So it is Forge coming up after the Cybernetics core. So trying to add, you know, a little bit of greediness in, and actually that's going to pay off really well for him this game. It's not anything too aggressive, and I think he's basically onto that anyways as drones are getting transferred all over the place. Oh, these drones actually turn around and go towards the main base. That's kind of interesting. Maybe to dodge the drone counting capabilities of the probe that's scouting. Saw the Stargate going down here for Bonyth as well. And finally, the probe does end up falling. All right, we do have the +1 as well as the Citadel. You know, the one thing I think that struck me in the previous game was Bonyth, the way he defended, right? Like, he had the second cannon well in time. Like, it was just kind of like a safety second cannon. And then he added 2 more, but the placement was perfect. It was actually similar placement to what we see here. I think it's a little bit harder when your buildings are vertical on your wall rather than horizontal. But he has them spaced a little bit, so it's a little bit hard for Hydras to get all the way up without that range attack and actually power down the cannon. But yeah, it felt like he didn't overmake cannons, but still deflected the rush and then got into very solid macro behind it. And with that solid macro and just kind of like rolled Sziky overall, he was trying to get up to the next level of tech, right? Like he was going to the lurkers and everything. I do think that Sziky could have defended a bit better. I don't think he would have completely held, but maybe on the second high ground on Ascension, right? So maybe he was a little bit too forward, being a little bit too greedy with his positioning, a little bit too spread out. Either way, we do have a Corsair over here in the natural. Oh, takes a Scourge hit immediately. Let's see if he can get it home. This is exactly what you don't want to have happen with a Corsair. If you end up losing it, a switch to mutas is so strong. It looks like Sziky, ooh, yeah, his attention went elsewhere there for a moment and does not catch it with the Scourge. Now, the Scourge can still possibly catch it. You see, he's kind of mirroring how the Corsair is going right now. He's trying to head it off before it gets home. There's some heavy micro there. He's looking for... he missed it. That click down was a little bit too sharp, and Bonyth's Corsair are going to get back to his cannons. So absolutely not going to get it. I do see that he just started his Overlord speed, so that is going to prevent Dark Templars from having too much effectiveness coming up. You have that +1 upgrade still on the way. Very nice SimCity at the third base. Looks very hard for Zealots to get anything done right there. Nice little surround, puts a lot of damage onto that Zealot, does pull back without losing anything. +1 not quite done for the Zealots, but I'm sure it'll be done any second here. He's had that going in the main base for quite some time. I'm going to pick off a little bit. Ooh, Sziky is just going to dive in, and he's going to actually go after the cannons. So that is a little bit annoying. The probes come out to fight. Second cannon is going up. There's only 3 Lings and a Zealot pops out, so it looks like this isn't going to do too much more. He does end up getting like 2 probes, and only 1 gets through. There is a cannon in the main base, so it looks like that's about dealt with. Now here we go. Bonyth going forward right now with this group of Zealots. The Hydras push them back immediately. SimCity really working out for Sziky right now. No other tech that we see on the way. Bonyth going to re-add a cannon. His Zealot's actually coming all the way home right now. See if they actually go all the way to the wall at this point. It does feel like this is like one of those pre-storm bust timings maybe from Sziky. Those are somewhat popular. It's a really good build to mix in this matchup where you try to get up there. You have your speed, you have your range upgrade, and a ton of Hydras macroed off of like 5 hatches. I believe he actually has 6 right now, but if you hit there right before storm, like look, I mean, you need a lot of cannons here. Now, a DT comes out and starts to push these back a little bit, picks up 1 Hydra. He did have Overlord speed on the way. Where are the Overlords? It looks like this was actually quite a mistake from Sziky. Oh, but actually, there's so many Corsairs out on the map. Maybe they actually just caught whatever Sziky had coming across. We didn't really get to see. Corsairs moving towards that main base. The Overlord's kind of spread out at the moment. And I wonder what's happening, actually, up at the natural. Okay, he does bring in an Overlord. Look at that, Bonyth targets down the Overlord immediately. Can send that DT out once again. Loses his Cybernetics core, which is annoying. He is going to have to get that again because you have to go into Dragoons as they're switching it up into Lurker play. Corsairs still looking for some kills over at Sziky's base. Quite a few High Templars coming out. Yeah, there's the Cybernetics core so that he can get that Dragoon production going, as well, of course, as Dragoon range. A decent amount of cannons, a very healthy amount of Zealots here with those High Templars charging up. Kind of an interesting game that we have ourselves in right now. Sziky is taking his 4th base, which I think is very important over there at 3 o'clock. The Corsairs still getting some kills here, too. All right, looks like the Zealots coming out on the map. The High Templars trailing behind and really quite a far way behind. That's all right, though. We don't see any, like, speedlings or anything out on the map. Of course, something like that could make that a huge mistake, but he's killed all the Zerglings off a little bit earlier. A couple more Overlords get popped. These Corsairs are actually doing some huge work. Honestly, I think they must have kept the initial Overlord back when the DT defended the first part of the push. So the Corsairs, I mean, I think that they have done a huge job this game in getting Bonyth into this kind of nice position. But there's a lot of Lurkers being made, and as these come out, as these get to burrow, it's going to be very difficult. Oh my god, he kills so many Scourge there, but it's going to be very difficult to break through the Zealot-based army. Whoa, that Storm, absolutely massive. His Zealots do take a little bit running through. Another Storm on the flanking Hydras as they come in. Quite a few Lurkers are trying to come out of these eggs. He picks off the first one before it can burrow. The rest of the Zealots walking in the natural, but the Sim City a little bit too good. He turns around and chases the flanking force. I don't see any High Templars out here anymore, so I think he has to basically leave this area. It looks like he's going to go for a few more hits, but as the Lurkers come up, you have to run. You have to get out of here. Absolutely cannot stay any longer. Okay, so Sziky has basically held on, and take a look at those supplies. 99 to 105. That is a big advantage for our Zerg player. It seems like he's really found his stride with his macro this game. And Bonyth running around with these Zealots, like, he lost the 2 to 3 High Templars that were with his army. He's definitely getting the Dragoon range right now. DT trying to get in for some harass, not going to end up working. But yeah, here are the Dragoons. There's the Observer. And he's got a very healthy amount of gateways, right? We have 8 gates, which is basically what you can produce off of onto base. He's adding that 3rd Nexus as well. But is he going to actually attack? It does not really feel to me like he can attack. Like, maybe he can run around, like, roam with his army a little bit, try to pick off straggler units, try to keep some faux pressure on, and then maybe something else can run around, right? Like a small group of speed Zealots, perhaps a shuttle, something like that. But I think a full attack won't quite work here, especially considering he is spending that money on that 3rd base. Let's see, though. He's coming over. Now, Sziky has the high ground here. You can see that ramp down to the center. The Storm not really doing that well for Bonyth. A good dodge by Sziky. Lots of Lurkers in the back here, but he does choose to walk away for now. A couple Observers in that main army. Bonyth roaming through that middle gulch thing. That wavelet, I guess. More units being rallied down. I believe that 3rd Nexus should be done by now. Yeah, I think I see some probes transferring on the map. And here we go. He's popping out, actually, way behind the army here, in between the natural and 3rd base. Now, here comes down the rest of the army. This is very, very Lurker heavy, so it's good against the Zealots, but there's a lot of Dragoons and Storms in here as well. Now, the Zealots come over and start to fight against the Hydras. That's exactly what you want. A flank coming up of more Lurker Hydra now as well. Storms go down upon them. The Zealots actually getting great trades over to the right side there. The rest of the Lurkers come down for the burrow. A very Lurker-heavy army. Now, is Bonyth going to run out? It seems like his Dragoon count is really falling quite a bit. He is trying to make an Archon. Does have a few other units left here. Not sure if he still has a remaining Psystorm or not. But yeah, it seems like Sziky going to hold on to that pretty handedly. I feel like that full attack into that area Like, I mean, Bonyth's army was really good, and it did well at the beginning, especially that group of Zealots over on the side. But now you look at this very rough position he's in. He's playing against a 4-base Zerg. He's got his 3rd base up, sure, but I feel like the critical mass that he needed in that army, you know, the health and damage output, so that his Psystorms could gain that value, I think a lot of that was lost there. Whereas with Sziky, I think that he can replace that army and fight efficiently a lot more quickly. You see Sziky very quickly here, splitting everything up, getting his burrows going. Nice spread. Bonyth walking out once again. You see how close these supplies are right now. Never a good sign for the Protoss player. Defiler Mound on the way. Dragoon's going to have a much harder time when that's out. Ooh, the Zealots lead into some Lurkers, taking quite a bit of damage. At least their shield's already gone here. Some of them starting to pop as well. Nice pick off on the High Templar. There are quite a few High Templars still here, but yeah, look at this area. How do you get in there, right? If he just runs down and attacks you as you try to go through that tiny choke, he has units on the inside as well. It's going to be very tough. Okay, nice storm there. More Lurkers coming as well. Bonyth just sending his Zealots into that 4th base area. Looks like there's only a Sunken and a few Lings there. Now, Sziky coming down with a lot of Lurkers. Oh, a nice storm. Does get a couple of them. More storms going down. Only a few Zealots left over in this 4th base area. The drone's getting massively pulled out of here. Ling's hatching, so he will end up cleaning it and being able to get back to work mining. Taking another base in that top right during all of this as well. Bonyth with that 4th base. It has finished. We don't see probes there yet, but he is behind in supply. Looks like he wants to make a little bit of a wall there, maybe. Maybe he wants to put some cannons out in the front. We see some Reavers being added in. I think that's a great choice as you get to Defiler Tech, but I just wonder if Bonyth can actually support that right now. His main base basically gone as far as the mining goes, but he is sending a lot of probes to the 4th. So still a pretty decent economy. Just his overall army size, not that large at the moment. Sziky taking both other mains, as we see. A lot of Defilers popping out. This is getting pretty darn scary for Protoss. Oh, a second Robo. All right, dude, I'm excited about this. I'm very excited about this. And, like, I think that this is a really cool and smart way to try to play a game like this. You know, you're getting into Defilers and everything. Obviously, we're going to see Reavers doing a very good job. He's adding a lot of Archons in here as well. But yeah, like Storm, Archon, Reaver, those are going to be some of your most cost-efficient units once Hive Tech is out, you know, against Protoss. And, like, I think he needs that desperately, right? Like, this army, if you throw one Dark Swarm down, the Nexus just dies unless you have a lot of splash damage there. Well, it looks like that's what's going to happen. There's one High Templar that doesn't quite have energy yet. There's the Dark Swarm. This base is gone. You can't save it. Now, can Bonyth kill this base in Retribution? The thing is, even if he does, I don't think it's even. I think he needs to kill this base and, like, the top right, at least. Maybe even the bottom left as well. But here we go. He is starting to get in. Throw some Psystorms down. The Archon's tanking quite a bit of damage here. Reavers being dropped inside. Going to help pick off some of these. A nice storm on those incoming Zerglings. Pulls back into the choke a little bit. Ooh, the Darkstorm goes down. Has to get away from that area. The Archon's still going to be somewhat useful here. Another Darkstorm goes down. Bonyth chased into this 4th base location. And look, the Reavers are doing fantastically. I think that's what's really keeping him in this right now. Another nice storm as well, and those Hydras in the choke. It seems like he will end up killing this base, but Sziky is not even trying to save it anymore. He is starting to send his units across the map towards the top left, and with the Defiler Lurker Ling there, that will be difficult to hold. DT is out, kind of walking by everything. Let's see what Bonyth can do here. Can he work some magic between Storm and Scarabs? Oh, immediately the High Templar goes down. Only one Scarab ready. Does get a nice shot as it runs away. That Defiler's still left alive. It's like a bit of a Reaver drop here. Oh my god, the Cracklings don't even care about Reavers. I just knocked one down immediately. Looks like an attack here onto that third base location. This is basically the mining that we have left here for Bonyth, so to take that out would be very close to game winning. I would not be surprised if we see Bonyth GG pretty quickly if he loses that top base right there. All right, sending up his Zealots. He has some Psystorms in here, I believe. Yeah, okay, I'm digging that Psystorm. That was a really good one. Another one goes down. And he eliminates a lot of those, but there's just not enough army left. Scourge end up picking off the shuttle with the Reavers in it as well. I think there's only one Reaver anyways. It does get out, but not enough. Another Dark Storm at the Nexus. The probes all being shattered, and yeah, that has to be it. This does not feel like this is winnable at all. Bonyth's mineral patches are gone basically in his main base and in his natural. He's starting to get some mining, getting a little bit of defense as well at those other main bases. Bonyth putting together whatever he can right now. Trying to rub two nickels together to make a quarter, but I don't see any way it's going to end up working. Like, yeah, you can clean this up and even do it very efficiently. But that doesn't mean you're going to be able to stop the next swarm. We barely have the money for a Nexus. Yeah, and as you can see, there's almost no mining going on. So as Sziky rallies across the map, I do believe we're going to be seeing GG and a tied game score. Dark Storm goes down. I mean, that Protoss army is pretty fun to use. You may as well fight with it as efficiently as possible, but doesn't look very very possible to be coming back here. Right now, down 40 supply. Sziky with 50% more than what Bonyth has. Drop going towards that natural. Not even sure if he knows about the top right and bottom left bases right now, which, I mean, that could play into him not GGing yet as well, right? Like, if you think your opponent only has that one mining base, you can actually pull some magic at that point. High Templar being left behind. Okay, that's kind of cute. All right, goes down. And, oh, that's a Scarab right there. Beautiful. Very nice. Some Scourge are coming, though. Oh, God. It's going to try to get out of there. Now, where do you land this? Oh, you got to just drop it. He did drop that Reaver over there. Gets 24 kills so far. So sick. Plus 3 armor upgrades as well. Really fantastic upgrades here for Bonyth. Alright, a few lings getting picked off. The army very, very small right now. Ooh, another very good Scarab as well. I think the Reavers have done fantastically for him. It's just, I wonder what would have happened if Bonyth had maybe not done the full attack in between the natural and third base, right? Like, if you're just kind of posturing and running in and out and, like, just trying to whittle down pieces of army that come up to fight you, I feel like he would have gotten into his strong economy and had a much bigger army to be able to walk around with and get those even more cost-efficient trades with. But here we are, and he is just so out-macroed at this point. We're at twice the supply from Sziky. Just not very doable. And, I mean, seeing the drones come up, he's going to go check this base. And I think once he sees the drone count and everything, yeah, he loses that shuttle. I mean, Sziky's play is completely fine here to not just go attack, you know? Like, you would have to throw away a lot of armies to lose this game as Zerg. And him just sitting there and kind of macroing against a one-base mining Protoss is just always going to result in victory. All right, DT trying to slip in. Bonyth does have mining at that third base. Trying to put something together. Third base of Sziky almost mined out. Cannon coming up. Yeah. I mean, the army, it's almost like if we had an arbiter, a scout, and 2 carriers here, this would be a box art army, right? Like, it would be one of those scenes where you're like, wow, look at that. That's such a cool and sophisticated army. It almost looks like that. He's got, like, all the good ground units kind of together. Like the heroes that are left. It's not a big 200 army, but I tell you, it's got some flexibility to it. A little bit of everything, even a single dragoon in there. Single DT in there, single observer in there. Alright, Sziky's starting to go across the map. He is almost maxed out now, which is basically the scariest thing you can see, is a maxed out Zerg. Very, very rare. But Sziky has definitely earned it. It's been on a lot of bases for a very long time, attacking multiple locations at once now. A lot of Zerglings coming in his army. See that cost efficiency of the Reavers just out of control. There is a counterattack going on from Bonyth, so he's put on some aggression, like trying to find something. That is a lot of lurkers, though. Crackling's going to take down the Nexus immediately. Nice storm. Does continue to hold on, and that's it. GG. Sziky gonna win game number 2.